Lionel Messi on Enzo Fernandez, the bond that is melting hearts at the World Cup. Have you ever watched two players who just seem to understand each other without even talking? That is exactly what we are seeing right now between Lionel Messi and Enzo Fernandez. One is the greatest player of his generation. The other is our own Chelsea midfielder, living out his childhood dream every single day. And right now, at the 2026 World Cup, their story is turning into something Chelsea fans will never forget. If you are a Chelsea fan, you already know Enzo. You know his energy, his passing range, and his big heart on the pitch. But do you know how much Lionel Messi rates him? Do you know the story of a 15-year-old boy who once begged his idol not to quit football? Grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let us walk through this beautiful story together. The night Argentina refused to die. Let us start with the moment that has everyone talking. Argentina were playing Egypt at the 2026 World Cup. This was a knockout match, so there was no room for mistakes. One loss and you go home. Simple as that. Egypt shocked everyone. They went 2-0 up. Can you imagine how the Argentina fans felt watching their team, the defending world champions, sitting 2 goals down against a team many did not expect to compete at this level? Panic was creeping in. Even Messi missed a penalty earlier in the game. It looked like it was just not going to be his day. But football has a funny way of writing its own stories, does it not? Cristian Romero pulled one back for Argentina. Then, just a few minutes later, Messi struck. He calmed himself, found his composure, and buried the equalizer. The whole stadium erupted. Argentina were level. But the story was not finished yet. Deep into stoppage time, with everyone holding their breath, Argentina broke forward on the counter-attack. Lautaro Martinez carried the ball and whipped in a cross. And who was there to meet it? Our very own Enzo Fernandez. He rose above everyone and headed the ball into the net. Game over. Argentina had completed one of the wildest comebacks you will ever see at a World Cup, winning 3-2. Picture that moment for a second. Enzo Fernandez, the same player who wears the Chelsea badge every week, scoring the winning goal for Argentina in a World Cup knockout match. That is not just a good day at work. That is the kind of moment players dream about their whole lives. Why this goal means so much. Some goals are just goals. They go in, the fans cheer, and life moves on. But this one was different. This goal sent Argentina through to the quarterfinals. This goal kept the defending champions alive in the tournament. And this goal came from Enzo Fernandez, in the biggest moment possible, with the whole world watching. Do you think Enzo will ever forget this night? We doubt it. This is the kind of memory that stays with a player forever, and as Chelsea fans, we get to say that our midfielder was the hero who saved Argentina's World Cup dream. How good does that feel? What Messi has said about Enzo Fernandez over the years. Now let us talk about the other side of this story. What does Lionel Messi actually think about Enzo Fernandez? Because this is not just a one-match wonder. Messi has been talking about Enzo for years, and every single time the praise has been genuine and warm. Back during the 2022 World Cup, when Argentina lifted the trophy in Qatar, Messi was already talking up young Enzo. He said something that stuck with fans for a long time. Messi explained that he was not surprised by how well Enzo was playing. He said he trains with him every day, he knows him well, and he believes Enzo deserves all the praise because he is simply a spectacular player. Think about that for a second. This is Lionel Messi we are talking about. A man who has played with some of the greatest footballers of all time. Neymar, Suarez, Iniesta, Xavi. And yet he takes the time to single out Enzo Fernandez and call him spectacular. That is not something Messi says about just anyone. Messi has also spoken about how composed Enzo is on the ball. Can you imagine how much pressure a young midfielder feels playing alongside Messi in the Argentina national team? The expectations are massive. Every touch is watched by millions of people. Yet Messi says Enzo stays calm. He does not panic. He always looks composed in possession, like he has been playing at this level his whole career. Messi even called Enzo a unique kind of midfielder. Not just a good player. Not just a solid squad member. A unique talent that Messi says he feels grateful to have alongside him in the Argentina shirt. As a Chelsea fan, does that not give you goosebumps? The best player of this generation is out here calling our midfielder unique and spectacular. That is the level Enzo Fernandez is operating at right now. The story behind the bond here is where things get really emotional. This relationship between Messi and Enzo did not start on a football pitch. It started with a letter. Back in 2016, Lionel Messi announced he was retiring from international football. This came after Argentina lost another final, and Messi was heartbroken. Fans all over the world were devastated. Nobody wanted to see Messi walk away from the national team. At that time, Enzo Fernandez was just 15 years old. He was a young boy with a dream, watching his idol say he was done. Instead of just feeling sad and moving on, young Enzo did something special. He wrote an emotional open letter on Facebook, begging Messi to reconsider his decision. Just stop and think about that story for a moment. A 15-year-old kid, pouring his heart out online, asking the greatest player in the world not to give up on the national team. That same boy is now grown up, playing week in and week out alongside that very idol, wearing the same Argentina shirt, chasing the same World Cup dream. Does that not sound like something out of a movie? A young fan writes a letter to his hero, begging him to stay. Years later, that same fan becomes his hero's teammate and eventually scores a World Cup winning goal in front of him. If Hollywood wrote this story, people would say it is too good to be true. But this is real life, and it is happening right now in front of our eyes. Enzo has spoken openly about what it means to play alongside Messi. He has described Messi as his idol growing up, the man he watched on television and dreamed of one day playing with. Now, instead of just watching from the stands, Enzo shares the same pitch with him, wearing the same colours, chasing the same trophy. What this means for Chelsea fans. So why should Chelsea fans care so much about all of this? Let us break it down. First, this shows just how special Enzo Fernandez really is. When the best player in football history is publicly praising your midfielder, that tells you everything you need to know about his quality. This is not hype from pundits or fans. This is coming straight from Messi himself. Second, this experience will only make Enzo better. Playing in high-pressure World Cup knockout matches, scoring winning goals, and learning from someone like Messi every single day, that kind of experience cannot be bought. It has to be lived, and Enzo is living it right now in the biggest tournament in football. Third, imagine the confidence Enzo will bring back to Chelsea after this World Cup. A player who has just scored a stoppage-time winner to send his country through to the quarter-finals is not going to walk back into the Chelsea dressing room feeling small. He is going to walk back in as a World Cup hero, ready to carry that belief into every match for the club. Does this not get you excited for what Enzo can bring to Chelsea once the new season begins? A player with this level of big match experience, with this kind of bond with a legend like Messi, with this kind of composure under the highest pressure, is exactly the kind of player you want driving your midfield forward. Messi reacts. After the win. After the final whistle against Egypt, Messi did not hide his emotions. He admitted he had been upset about missing his earlier penalty, but he praised the team spirit that helped them fight back from 2 goals down. He talked about how proud he was of the group for refusing to give up, even when things looked hopeless. Can you imagine being part of a team where Messi himself is praising your fighting spirit? That is the environment Enzo Fernandez is playing in right now, surrounded by winners, surrounded by fighters, and right in the middle of it all, delivering when it mattered most. A friendship built on respect. What makes this story so special is that it goes both ways. It is not just Enzo looking up to Messi. It is Messi genuinely respecting and appreciating Enzo as a player and as a person. That kind of mutual respect between a legend and a rising star does not happen very often in football. We often hear about young players idolizing their heroes, but how often do we hear the hero speaking so warmly about the young player in return? This is what makes the Messi and Enzo story stand out. It feels real. It feels genuine. It is not just words for the cameras. And now, with Enzo scoring the winning goal in a World Cup knockout match right in front of Messi, that bond has only grown stronger. Picture the celebration after that goal. Picture Messi embracing Enzo, celebrating together, sharing that moment as teammates who have been through so much together. What is next for Argentina and Enzo? With this win, Argentina march on to the World Cup quarter-finals, still chasing back-to-back titles. The pressure will only increase from here, but if there is one thing this Egypt match proved, it is that this Argentina team never gives up. They showed that even when things look bleak, they can find a way to fight back. For Enzo Fernandez, this tournament is turning into the experience of a lifetime. He is playing alongside his childhood hero, earning his praise and now delivering massive goals on the biggest stage in football. How much more can this young man's story grow before the World Cup is finished? As Chelsea fans, all we can do is watch, support and get excited about what this means for our club. Every big moment Enzo experiences on the international stage is another building block for what he can bring to Chelsea. Every word of praise from Messi is confirmation of what we already believed about our midfielder. Final thoughts. So let us ask you directly, Chelsea fans. Did you expect Enzo Fernandez to be at the centre of one of the biggest World Cup moments this summer? Did you know just how much Lionel Messi respects and admires him? And after reading about that letter a young Enzo wrote all those years ago, does his stoppage time winner against Egypt not feel even more special now? This is more than just a football story. This is a story about dreams coming true. A young boy who once begged his hero to stay now stands beside him as a teammate, delivering match-winning moments on the world's biggest stage. That is the kind of story that reminds us why we fall in love with football in the first place. Enzo Fernandez is not just a Chelsea player anymore. He is a World Cup hero, a man respected by the greatest player of his generation, and a symbol of what hard work and belief can achieve. So the next time you see him pull on that Chelsea shirt, remember this moment. Remember the boy who wrote a letter. Remember the header that sent Argentina through. Remember that Lionel Messi himself calls him spectacular. What do you think, Chelsea fans? Are you as proud of Enzo Fernandez as we are? Drop your thoughts, share this story with fellow fans, and let us celebrate this incredible journey together. Our midfielder is making history, and we get to watch it happen in real time. Come on, Chelsea, and come on, Enzo.